Britain's incompetent government has once more lost control of the Chinese coronavirus pandemic that is now at the beginnings of a second wave that looks set to be about half as severe as that of March and April's first wave.
The virus has started to spread again in an exponential way. Infections are up, hospital admissions are climbing. We risk many more deaths. We will enforce those rules with tougher penalties and fines of up to £10,000. We will put more police out on the streets and use the army to backfill if necessary. If people don't follow the rules we've set out, then we must reserve the right to go further. We must take action now because a stitch in time saves 9.
UK second wave coronavirus daily cases trend forecast. The number of people testing positive has started to soar, doubling from 3,000 a week ago to the latest released data of 6,178. Furthermore, the ONS estimates that there are approximately 110,000 people across the UK that are infected right now, which would imply that the actual number of infected per 100,000 is around 170, as against the official figure of just 40. So 4 times the official number are infected right now in the UK. However, the current situation is not quite as dire as the graph suggests, for the fundamental reason that, as I mentioned before, barely 1/20 of those infected were being tested during April, i.e. only those already ill ended up in hospital were being tested at that time. So during the first pandemic wave, as many as 100,000 were catching the virus each day, though of course not everyone infected is being tested right now. Probably about half the infected are being tested, so the actual number infected per day is around 12,000. And therefore, as per my original March analysis, I was expecting the second wave to ultimately end up being about half that of the first wave, which means to expect this wave to peak at just below 50,000 cases per day at, say, around 42,500 per day, assuming that the first wave's peak was at 100,000 per day. Anyway, we are likely to see today's official figures of 6,200 positive cases per day increase at least 7-fold to about 42,500 per day, which, given the trend trajectory of doubling roughly every 7 days, though which I expect to slow each week during October as the government issues ever more panicked lockdown orders and measures across the growing number of regions, then the following number of people tested positive each day by these dates is likely, i.e. 42,500 by the 29th of October. So I'm expecting the number of cases to be nudging above 42,500 by the end of October, before stabilizing in response to a series of measures to be announced over the coming weeks as the government effectively presses the panic button, where a deviation against the forecast trend will act as an important indicator of relative economic strength or weakness. This video is an excerpt from my extensive analysis that concludes in a detailed trend forecast for the stock market into December 2020, the whole of which is first being made available to patrons who support my work. So for immediate first access to all of my analysis and trend forecasts, then do consider becoming a patron by supporting my work for just $3 per month. And also remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel for new analysis and trend forecast videos. Shala's off to Royal Hallamshire Hospital for X-ray and blood test. Was it 7th?
What?
7th of July.
Yeah.
So if you get infected, it's from Royal Alamshire. Here it is. Royal Alamshire. Gone good 5 months without getting infected. 4 or 5 months. So let's see what happens there. You get blood test done. Why? What? Why they give you appointment for half 4 then? They give you appointment for when it's closed. What about X-ray? Did you have X-ray done? So when you went to reception, what happened? When you went to the reception desk, 4:20 p.m. what did they say? Did you say a blood test? So why do you tell them blood test?
It was X-ray department, so I thought it's X-ray book for 4:20, so I have to go there first, innit?
You booked for, and then they sent you for blood test.
They didn't say, okay, yeah, you can go back. And I said, Dr. Charlie, I said, okay, go.
They knew it'd be closed because they worked there.
The doctor didn't know. They booked the X-ray.
Did you tell them you got a blood test? Or did you, when did you tell the doctor you had a blood test?
When I finished my X-ray, I said, septic. I need to go for the blood test.
When you went first, why didn't you say you got X-ray and blood test?
Did I know it's going to happen?
Well, when you went there...
When I asked the doctor, I'm going for X-ray, I said, there is a blood test. They said, oh, they'll send you for blood. Go for X-ray and then they'll send you for blood test.
They work there, they know it closes at 4:30.
Doctor did.
Your appointment was 4:20 for X-ray and blood test, and 4:30 they closed. So you went for X-ray first. How long did X-ray take? So what did X-ray show? What? What did X-ray show?
Wait. Mom.
Well, they don't tell you the results. Why didn't they just tell you? What do you mean they just look at it? So now you have to call GP up. They're supposed to tell you. You saw a doctor in it. They're supposed to look at the X-ray. They're supposed to look at the X-ray and tell you if anything's wrong. They didn't do that. They just took X-ray and what they said. No blood test, and they had X-ray and they didn't tell you what it is. NHS, you're still useless. With a lot of people, empty. So even when it's empty, they're useless. What's NHS? Useless when full, useless when empty. This video is an excerpt from my extensive analysis that concludes in a detailed trend forecast for the stock market into December 2020. The whole of which is first being made available to patrons who support my work. So for immediate first access to all of my analysis and trend forecasts, then do consider becoming a patron by supporting my work for just $3 per month. And also remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel for new analysis and trend forecast videos.